Welcome to ABC Consult's YouTube channel. If you are yet to subscribe to the channel, ensure that you subscribe, like the video, and of course drop your comment. I'll be in the comment section to ensure that your comments are attended to. Today, we'll be talking about business analyst best practice. Who is a business analyst? A business analyst, I'm sure by now you know who that is, isn't it? A business analyst is anyone in charge of translating a business need into a technical language or a solution, so to say. So the question is, for anyone who is to translate a business need into technical solution, what are the best practices that can be employed? Now, to begin with, I want to talk about understanding the business problem. Very important for a business analyst to understand the business problem. The reason is so that for any solution that is being recommended, this solution will attend to the problem and ensure that the business carry on effectively and efficiently. Now, understanding the business problem, we'll focus on the Ishikawa or fishbone analysis. What is Ishikawa or fishbone analysis? Ishikawa or fishbone analysis is a technique that helps a business analyst to get to the root cause of any problem. We have got different models of fishbone or Ishikawa analysis. As a matter of fact, best practice, you will have to combine this model in order to ensure that you get to the root cause of the problem, and of course it is the root cause of the problem that is well attended to. Number two, we are going to focus on identifying the business stakeholders. I'm sure you have watched my video on stakeholder management. It is important for a business analyst to understand and identify the various stakeholders, of course, also known as your go-to person as far as the project is concerned. You need to identify this stakeholder. You need to map them out in respect to their power and their interest, so you can have your go-to person whenever there is a need for you to elicit requirements or even get validation. Now, in order for us to continue, we'll talk quickly on number 3 after identifying your stakeholders, which has got to do with elicitation of requirement. Now, there is a need, isn't it? The question is, how do we understand this need? Having understood who the stakeholders are, how do I elicit this requirement so that it can be properly documented? Of course, in order to get this done, there are various techniques that can be leveraged in order to elicit requirement. We have got the document analysis, we have got the interview, we have got the workshop, and other form of elicitation technique. But for the purpose of this class, I'll just limit it probably to just these 3, and of course we'll move on from there. If you have any question, please don't hesitate to put your question in the comment section, and I'll be there to attend to them. Now, focusing on an interview. Now, the interview to a large extent is going to be a one-on-one session where you and the stakeholder will be brought together into a meeting, and you have the opportunity to ask your various questions. And we also have the workshop. Now, for the workshop, where we have stakeholders that are large in number, then it will be wise for any stakeholder to leverage a workshop form of elicitation technique in order to save time and, of course, to get all the stakeholders on board at the same time. Now, either an interview or a workshop that is to be carried out, I will advise a business analyst to always leverage an Oscar model in order to prepare for this session. Now, the question here is, what is an Oscar model? An Oscar model focuses on identifying what is the objective of the meeting, what is the scope of the meeting, what are the possible constraints that can be faced with during this meeting, who are those that can be termed as authority in the meeting, and of course, what are the resources available. Now, leveraging this Oscar model, what it will do for you as a business analyst is that it will help you as a business analyst to be proactive, to have a very good understanding of the possible questions that you need to ask during the meeting, and of course, get you also prepared for this session. Now, having elicited the requirements, there is also a need for you to validate this requirement. You need to ensure that at the end of the session, there is a validation that needs to be done. Of course, sending this document to the various stakeholders who attended the session in order for them to validate what has been documented. Now, a validation process, we can have 3 categories. The first category can be a category where you have a thumbs up that the job is a well done job and that you have done everything that is expected to be done in respect to the requirement shared with you. Now, for the second category, you can tend to find yourself in this category. It is not a big deal, where stakeholders will ask you to, of course, go back and do some form of work on the document that you have been able to come up with. This is just some minimal work that is expected to be done in order to ensure that the document is complete. And then we have the third category, which to a large extent I don't expect anyone watching this video should find themselves in. This is a category where you are told to do a rework of the old document, and in that case that means you don't even understand how to go about your requirement documentation. So these are the different categories that can occur in a requirement validation. Now, I haven't spoken about the requirement elicitation session. Now, for a business analyst, the next best practice is mapping of process. There can be a need for you to map a process as far as the project is concerned. So the question is, how do you map a process? How do you map an as-is? Now, in order for you to map an as-is, of course, you can leverage, according to the session, best practice. We'll be talking about the Microsoft Visio BPMN 2.0, which will not only help you identify the various actors, but also identify the actors, their tasks, and the various decision gates that are present in the process. Now, after mapping the as-is, leveraging the Microsoft Visio BPMN 2.0, the next best practice of any business analyst, as the case may be to analyze the as-is that has been documented. There can be a case where there is a need for you to analyze the as-is, process analysis. What are the various techniques that you can leverage to analyze this as-is? Now, there are various techniques that you can leverage. We have the gap analysis, we have the SIPOC model, of course, which will help you to drill down into the inefficiencies, bottlenecks that can be found in any business process. Now, having identified these bottlenecks, having identified these inefficiencies, this will trigger a to-be to be drawn. And of course, immediately once this to-be has been put together, then there's a question of what are the gaps, what are the actions that we have identified that are needed to be done for the project or for the business to move from the as-is state to the to-be state. Of course, there are some discussions around systems to be implemented, automations needed to be carried out, or even some new systems that are needed to be developed, or even that are needed to be bought or brought into the organization. And that will take us to the next thing that I'll be discussing, which is ensuring that the work is implemented successfully. Of course, there is a place of solution implementation. The question here is, what is the solution? As a business analyst, it is possible for you to must have carried out what we call an option analysis in order to get the best solution. The question here is, what are the available solutions for this problem? Now, having understand what the solutions are, there can be a place where you are informed to carry out what we call an option analysis. Now, the option analysis helps you to understand the benefits of each option, the risk attached to each option, as well as the cost of each option. Now, what this will do is that this will put the stakeholder in a position where they can make an informed decision. Now, lastly, after solution has been implemented, there is a place of evaluation. The question is, how do we want to evaluate the solution that has been implemented? What are the key performance indicators that are in place in order to measure the success of the project? All these must be properly identified, and these are best practices for a business analyst working on any project in any organization. If you have any question, don't hesitate to put your question in the comment section, like the video, and of course, subscribe if you have not. Thank you very much for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.